Namaste, beautiful human. For those of you who are interested to connect more with Kali Ma, I want to share a little bit about what her presence can mean for us at a spiritual level, why we might be attracted to her, and a mantra that you can use with a brief explanation of what it means to fuel your practice and your heart connection with her if that's something that you're interested in. So, Kali Ma is the fierce Black Madonna of India. She is both spiritual winter, connected with the retraction of life force, the pulling away, the kind of symbolic death energy, so drawing away. And she is the rebirth energy, the spiritual spring on the other side of that. There's a vision that Ramakrishna, a Hindu saint and mystic, had of Kali Ma. He adored her. And one of those visions was that she rose out of the water like Venus, right? Full pregnant and just luscious and feminine, gave birth to a child. And then, and remember, this is a bit confronting, but it's symbolic, it's not literal. She devoured the child and then went back into the water. And then the whole thing repeated again and again and again in his vision. And he came to understand she is the cycle of existence itself. She is the death and the rebirth. She is life. She is creativity. And she is the clearing, the chaos, the deconstruction that's necessary for that to happen. Because if we never had winter, we'd never have spring. So I think we understand this through looking at the seasons, but when it's happening in our lives, it can, or our world, it can be really difficult to have faith in that and to not lose hope. I often think about, who was the person on earth during the first winter ever, when we were able to see that as human beings. We must have thought it was the absolute apocalypse, the ending of everything. And then suddenly life thrives again after a period of time. What is that? And then we notice it again and again, and we say, oh, this is a cycle of life. We see it. We understand it. When it's happening in our lives, we often need divine support. We need spiritual guidance to encourage us to know, how much do I let go? Do I really go into this? How can I have faith that I'll rise out of it again? And we see it as a greater kind of seasonal transition through our own soul. So connecting with Kali Ma is one way to really facilitate that. The other thing that she does through this process is not just create change, but facilitate evolution. So that means that we don't just, have the passing of time. We actually evolve and grow as beings. And through that process, we attain some kind of fulfillment and hopefully also spiritual liberation. That's her absolute gift to us, this liberating energy or influence in our lives and in our world. So Kali Ma has a devouring quality. One of her names, Kali Kalmasa Nasini, is literally translated as she who consumes sin or evil, as she can remove negativities, devour them, and through that release the energy, cleansed, purified, and able to be used for something else. So it's incredibly beneficial to connect with her. Through that process, there is a type of chaos. So sometimes think of it like a house renovation. You can't just start building on something. There are things that need to be deconstructed first, but that renovation, that newness can't happen without the dismantling of what has been. Sometimes we hold on to the old ways, especially if there are uncertain times around us, or we're moving into an evolution where we don't really know what it's going to look like on the other side, but we feel the impulse of change within us. Kali Ma can really support us in that journey of making the letting go that much more clear and swift if it's appropriate, but definitely give us that feeling of we have the strength to move through this. We have that access to wisdom. We have that sense that there is a generosity in what's happening, even if it feels difficult at the time. And through that process, the rebirth can happen in a deeper, fuller, and often quicker way. So she has mercy as well as this ferocious compassion and this very fierce protective wisdom about her as well. One of the aspects of Kali, which I think is really powerful, is that she is often depicted in Viparita, or standing on top of Lord Shiva. This is an inversion of traditional hierarchies within patriarchal systems where the masculine is dominant. The feminine in the dominant position represents a few things, but it's not just about, toppling patriarchy. We do kind of need that. But it's not only that, it's actually kind of beyond that. It's about the liberation from conditioning. It's about the liberation from the oppression of systems. So that can be many types of systems within patriarchy itself, beyond politics, our own belief systems. It depends on the way that you're approaching it and what your soul needs. But she does have, again, liberatrix, this kind of liberating feminine energy that helps us move beyond the structures that are outmoded and would constrain or oppress the soul and prevent it from having its fulfillment and its fruition, its spiritual development and awakening. So she really is this most blessed ally on the path, this divine friend, fierce as all get out, but in a way that is necessary. She really arises and we feel connection to her when, and the necessity of her becomes clear to us when there's no other way, when softer, gentler measures just wouldn't get it done. That's not always the case, but sometimes it is. So, what do we do if we want to connect with her and we want to have that sense of a practice and understand her more deeply? I'm going to share a mantra with you that you can use to do that. I've also created other things, like I have a Kali Oracle immersion program that goes through deeper teachings around her and shares a lot that you can learn and different practices to do. But let me give you this mantra and explain what it means. And that's something you can start with immediately if you want to, whenever it feels right for you. So I'll say the mantra 3 times. It's in Sanskrit. And then I will explain what the sounds mean. And I'll just say this one thing. Sanskrit is a medicine language, an energy language. So whilst there is a kind of translation around it, it's very much just the tip of the iceberg. The sounds themselves are medicinal. They'll have effect in the energy body, on the meridians, the petals of the chakras, and so on and so forth. So it's like you're giving your soul some beautiful medicine when you say Sanskrit mantra. It's kind of lovely. So the mantra. Om Cream Kaliye Namaha, Om Cream Kaliye Namaha, Om Cream Kaliye Namaha. So, what does that mean? Om is the universal sound of creation. It's acknowledgement of the essence of everything. And Kali has that vastness, the cosmic womb, creation itself, primordial wisdom. These are all things that are associated with her. So she is beyond everything and within everything. She has that capacity, therefore, to reach us and help us with anything and everything that's going on in our lives. So that's Om. Cream is her bija or seed syllable. It basically means power. Kali's Shakti or her energy is power. So she's accomplishing, she gets things done. So we're saying cream, we're like really pulling in her essence. And then Kaliye is a form of her name, Kali, with the Shakti seed sound or activator, yay. It's like a Shakti sound that increases the potency. So cream Kaliye is like just demanding Kali's presence. It's kind of like Kali on steroids, really pulling that energy through. And then Namaha means I surrender to you, I have reverence to you, I bow to you. May your will, your presence, your wisdom prevail. So we're basically calling on her protection, her guidance, all of the good things that she offers with this courage and faith that as we clear and we purify and we let go, there are all these beautiful layers of blooming that will take place for us. I hope that if you feel a desire to connect with her, this helps you do so. And just know that the divine feminine, with all of her many faces through many, many traditions, is at heart and in essence this one great, all encompassing love. So much joy, so much encouragement from my heart to yours, dear ones. Stay strong, believe in yourself, trust your path. Namaste.